Welcome back to the show. I'm joined by Brian and Steve tonight. Mikel Arteta went Christmas shopping and at Westfield again. Me and Brian have been there a lot. We know all about that. And picked up 5 goals in the first half. Man was on a mission. I think the missus told him to come back and do some Christmas stuff with the kids, like we've all been doing. But I've got obviously 2 top guys with me to talk about that superb win and a look ahead to linking horns again with our great rivals Man United on Wednesday night. But obviously before all of that, let's go. Welcome to the show. I've got the Deal or No Deal superstar, Brian Haley. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, Mikey. I'm good. Yeah. I'm not. Don't call me a star just yet. We haven't seen my show yet. So.
Mate, you're smashing it, man. Anyone that does the electric slide on national TV is a superstar. On my standards. So great to have you on again, Brian. I really appreciate it. And I've also got Steve. They call me Stepney Osakwe. We called him the chef, obviously, because he's always cooking up some interesting theories when he was working at Arsenal together, and he still is to this day. How you doing, Steve?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Always a pleasure, man. Thanks for coming on, gents. So let's get into it. We had, obviously, we'll talk about the Sporting Lisbon result first. Obviously, that was a great result, wasn't it? We went into that with the usual. It's such a massive game for Arsenal. They talked about our record in Europe, which wasn't great, obviously, but we smashed them really. I think we definitely affected Sporting Lisbon because I think they lost at the weekend as well. Again, they lost 1-0, and I think Yorkeres again didn't score, so we seem to have wrecked their season a little bit. It just kind of goes to show what we're about at the moment. Obviously, won that game 5-1. A great performance that puts us into the top 8 of that, Champions Super League, with basically what it is. And of course, we rolled down to East London, to Stratford, and it was almost a repeat of what happened last year, Brian. But let's get into it. The lineup first. Were you a bit concerned with the fact that Thomas Partey and Marino were missing from that, and injury seems to have come round again and maybe bit us on the backside? But what was your thoughts going into that game and just off the back of the Lisbon result midweek?
I wasn't majorly concerned, to be honest with you. Some people may think a little bit differently when they actually saw the lineup, but I kind of saw, the bench in itself is kind of now, you bring Kieran Tierney into the mix now, and they're saying he's been training well. It's starting to kind of add some numbers to the squad. So I wasn't too perturbed by it, to be honest with you. And I think because of also we've got to think about the run of games that we've got now. There's going to be eight games in 28 days.
Yeah, pretty much.
So if anybody's going to have kind of little knocks and little, things like that now, I'd rather them kind of have those little kind of knocks now, with the run of games that we've basically got. So I wasn't too perturbed, to be honest with you. Jorginho kind of, is a calming that calming figure that we probably need in some of these games now. In the run up that we've got. So I think nothing really kind of perturbed me too much, to be honest with you.
I think the key thing, was Steve, was the fact that we've got Odegaard still. in there, and Gabriel obviously came off, didn't he, towards the end of the Lisbon game, and obviously that stopped Raheem Sterling getting on. But it was the fact that obviously we've got him back, Odegaard back, and I sent a message to you guys, and again, the importance of Odegaard. It's almost like he's a one-man sort of attacking system. The way he operates, what he does with the press, what he does when he gets the ball in space, what he does when he drives with the ball, as well. It's so many different facets to his game. But what was just your thoughts on that as well? Just how we continued, with that run. Obviously, he kind of started with the Forest game, wasn't it? And then we carried on against Lisbon and yesterday. But what was your thoughts on just how we set up yesterday? And obviously, as Brian said, Jorginho came in, and I thought he played well. Thought he looked pretty comfortable and was looking the ball about. But yeah, what was your thoughts on just how we executed the game plan in the first half?
Yeah, we were good. I say that with a huge smile because we haven't been so good up until this past week or so. We've got through games and probably had a few results that probably could have gone our way. So like you, Mike, when you messaged me yesterday to say Partey and Marino were injured, I was thinking, this could be a tricky one. West Ham coming off the back of beating Newcastle 2-0.
Yeah.
Another London derby, you do sort of go, this could be a tricky one. But we were good. We were good. And it's a pleasure because you can go through every single player on that pitch and they were good. The 2 goals that West Ham got, fair play to them. The first one was a great pass. And yes, we kind of dropped off a bit, but it was a great pass. And Wan-Bissaka's finished it. And then the free kick, that shouldn't have been a free kick because Rice, the ref was right there looking at it. But, you give a free kick. Those happen. And nothing you can do about that. Top bins were good. So good. Jorginho played well. I thought Timber played well. It's pointless. I'm just going to name the whole team.
True. I mean, I was gonna say to that. I mean, I think obviously the man of the match was obviously the man there, Saka, who again was his numbers at the moment. I think he's got 10 assists in the Premier League already. His best was 11, I believe, over the whole season, and that was a couple of seasons ago. He's 13 games in, and there's obviously we all know the target. The target is the 20, which Henry and Kevin De Bruyne jointly share. Yeah, Brian. I mean, just touching on him again because again he stepped up. I think he obviously, as he said afterwards, he loved the fact that Odegaard's back and it kind of unlocks his game. But I think he kind of showed leadership because we're spinning it forward to a bit. But when West Ham had their moment of when they were coming back into the game, when they scored, obviously Emerson's free kick, and then it got to right after that. I think Emerson was just on a mad one, and he fouled Timber, didn't he? He fouled Timber, and then he started kicking at him while he was down, and Saka was just like, no, I'm not having that. Yeah. And the momentum and that swung the momentum because on the timeline, obviously with what happened, minutes after that, we got the corner. We started attacking again. We still got the corner, and then obviously that's where the penalty came from. But what was your thoughts on just his performance again, Brian, and just how his numbers? Again, he is. I think. The argument about him being world class will always be thrown up, and I think with us watching football, for so many years, when you're referring people to world class, it's kind of like, well, is he up to, the R9 levels? Is he up to the Henry levels? Is he that world class? But I think the game has changed now, where I think world class for me is if you're producing the numbers and you're producing it consistently, and he's doing that. He's doing that now. But what was your thoughts on just his performance and just that? I thought that moment was key because he proper he stepped up. He wasn't letting Emerson get away with it, and then shortly after that, it seemed like the momentum swung back in our favour and we scored that goal. But what was your thoughts, Brian?
Just outstanding. And I think outstanding from general performance, the aspect, the way how he has kind of led the team alongside Odegaard since he's been back, and obviously prior to that as well. But I think the leadership quality that he did show was that situation that happened in the game there. He was not prepared to basically back down to anyone. Even Thomas Soucek, 6 foot odd of him, was trying to find him. And then kind of, didn't get a chance to get to him. But I'd have liked to have seen what would have actually happened if he did, because I don't think he would have stood, yeah. But in that instance, I think what we're looking at is that someone is he's 23.
Yeah.
And this thing about world class, the issue I find around world class is that can you be a world class player in a team that basically may not have necessarily have won trophies and stuff like that? Your individual stats will always be the case, but you can have great individual stats, but you could be in a team that's not winning an awful lot. And there'd be debates around that. And I think if once we start kind of winning things or getting into later stages of Champions Leagues and stuff like that, that's where I suppose you're going to see the Bukayo Sakas really be stand up and be counted in that sense. That's going to be the time. That's where people will start to judge the likes of the Bukayo Saka in that side of things when it comes to the aspect of world class. But as in yesterday's performance, it was generally outstanding, and I think you can see the relationship between him and Odegaard, and it effectively just terrorized West Ham. And I never thought, to be honest with you, that we'd get the same sort of performance that we did last season, and it was virtually identical. Virtually identical. And I didn't, and Steve, as you said, with regarding to their result in the week, against Newcastle, you're thinking, that may be them kind of turning the corner. But to be honest with you, they would. West Ham in themselves, should we just say, is that their inconsistency showed rightly yesterday, and we took full advantage of it.
Lopetegui said in the presser, Steve said that Arsenal, he's probably the most complete team, in the league. Which I think when you look at it, he's probably right in terms that we can cause absolute chaos at set pieces as well as open play as well, and on the transition. Obviously, what we saw with Havertz's goal with that pass from Trossard. But obviously, you mentioned a couple of other players who stood out for you. Obviously, you mentioned him already, but I think you've got to mention him a bit more again. This guy, I mean, he looks to me like he's properly over that injury, that last sort of bit of not rustiness, but just the way he was playing. There was a move what he done when he got taken out and he got a yellow. I think Somerville got a yellow card where he just wiped him out, where he just dropped his shoulder, he checked and he went again. And this guy is unreal, man. He's an unreal player, and I think I'm sad to say, Steve, this is why I've come to you, but I think you know where this is going. But I think your boy Benny Blanco is going to have a hard time getting back to the team. What's your thoughts? Is your chance to assassinate Trossard's character? Not Trossard, Timber's character.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he? You know what? He's a proper performer. He's intelligent as well. Look, Ben's not a proper right back, but he's played there and he's done fantastically well. If he's going to lose his place, then this guy's going to be the guy to take it. He's been immense. And no, I'm gonna just sort of backtrack just ever so slightly. Ben White probably still might just be ahead of him, just for the overlapping runs. But Timber inverts better. He's probably, like I said, he's just a better right back. His relationship with Saka is still developing, if you know what I mean. Whereas Ben White, Saka, and Odegaard, that relationship along there was already developed. So it's still developing. So, but yeah, he was a special player. It's frustrating as fans, fans of any club, but, we look at our club with our injuries, for example. If he wasn't injured last year, that's a player. That's an absolute player. If we didn't have Saliba injured that year, towards the end of that run-in, that's a huge loss. We've had Odegaard out for how many games did he miss? A huge loss. Thomas Partey didn't play yesterday, which was a worry for me. Like I said, that's why I was a bit worried about it, because he's been phenomenal. The types of disguised passes that guy does, and just drops the shoulders and keeps hold of the ball in tight situations and then redistributes it. The guy's phenomenal. But yeah, it's Jurriën Timbers. He's a proper player. I'm going to touch on Saka because I just think the guy is. I agree with Brian about the world class thing. I think it's okay to call somebody world class, somebody like Saka world class, because he is consistent. He's always available. Like, he had a couple of games where he's been injured, but other than that, his best ability has been availability. He's consistent. He puts up the numbers. He silences his critics. He attacks well. He defends well. He scores. He assists. He's got 10 assists now. I think he's the top assists out of the top 5 leagues. So the big 5 leagues, he's got the most assists so far this season. He is world class. The thing that will take him to that next level, which is the elite level, and then I think that's where I always put the difference between the elite and world and whatever is us winning trophies. And I have no doubt 100% he'll be center of all that. No matter what you throw at him, tackles, he gets up. People, even when he holds up the ball, when the ball comes to him and he's got a defender touch tight to him, he holds it up well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like he's shying away or anything. He holds it up well. He's strong. And that sort of commitment that he puts into himself to always improve, to consistently improve, helps around the rest of the team. So the younger ones coming through, they see what he does. He's come through the youth ranks and they see what he does. They see what he does to improve every single week. Timber talked about it in his presser about, being out for a long time and then coming back and having the people around you as well to push you and make you look good. That's personal for him as well, like, his life, his wife or, family and stuff like that. But it also comes from within the club. And when you see players like Saka always pushing to just get better and better and better, how do I get that extra bit of edge? It's infectious for the whole team. The guy is world class, and the elite status is pending, but it's going to be there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I just think there's consistency. I mean, I was going to say, Brian, when have you ever seen? You can't really put on too many occasions where he's made the wrong decision when he's had the ball. If he doesn't beat a man, try to beat somebody or try and work something, whether that's putting the cross in, it goes out for a corner, or he puts the corner in, or nothing's on, he'll just play the ball in backwards. He will cycle it. Again, you look on the other side, you look at Martinelli. How many times have you seen him make the wrong decision? He'll go down cul-de-sacs when you're watching the game, you're thinking, oh, he played there. He doesn't do it, or he makes the wrong decision. You can't really label that at Saka, and it's crazy how he's 23 and he's got the maturity of a 30, 31, 32-year-old guy. Who's been around the block, and so lucky to have someone like that. And not just that, he's just recovery powers as well. He gets kicked around the place as well. Still gets it. But yeah, just you wanted to finish up on him, Brian. Just
he's an intelligent boy. That's the start of. Well, he's an intelligent man now, really. That said, we always still think of him as the boy, but he's an intelligent man now. On and off the pitch, and you're now beginning to see that football intelligence come through even more now. He's not wasteful in possession. He looks to try and make the right decisions. He'll slow the game down where he needs to slow it down. He'll quicken it up where it needs to be quickened up. He's got that football intelligence about him now, which you touched on with regarding to Martinelli, which he doesn't have at this moment. He doesn't have that, that aspect of, sometimes where you just need to, that split second to kind of make a right decision of some sort, rather than it's kind of making something which is relatively rash, which you don't see that on the other side with Bukayo. But that's, that's someone that at the end of the day has had to kind of learn his trade in different positions, just playing football though for the club. Like starting out at left back, starting out at left wing, now finding a role. That's a player that's basically got a level of football intelligence to work his way to finding his way to where he is now and to dominate what he's doing on a week to week basis.
Yeah, we're so fortunate to have him. It's a delight to just see him progressing and just overcoming sort of adversity, whether that's just in injuries that he's picked up, people questioning his integrity, stuff like that. Arteta being asked questions in press comments about him, which no one else would get thrown at. Even though he's been the standout guy for England for a number of years, but no, fantastic performance from him, and I think he's going to be really, really close to that assist record the way he's going. I think it'd be great if he got it, wouldn't it? That would be another thing for people to downplay, wouldn't they? When they think the two players that who have got it, you would say they're world class, wouldn't you? But it's funny how they would sort of downplay. Oh well, he's not quite there, even though he might have broken that record. But anyway, anyone you guys are kind of worried about in terms of there's a lot of players that stood up yesterday. I thought there's always been the question about Trossard starting games, but I thought he was really, really good yesterday. I thought he got his goal, he got his assist, lovely ball to Havertz. I thought Havertz, again, he got his goal, tidy finish. I thought he worked his nuts off yesterday, especially the second half where the game was kind of, it just, I think both managers just said, look, you know what, just calm down a little bit. West Ham didn't want to get embarrassed by coming out a bit, and we didn't want to let in another goal, obviously, after to give him a chance in again. I thought those two played well. And I thought this guy, what do we call him now? Batman, because of his celebration again. Again, tremendous. The most dangerous centre back, I think, in Europe. I think the guys are incredible, and I think there's talks of a new contract being negotiated, so hopefully that will get sorted out as well. But was there anybody, Steve, who not stood out but needs to stand up? I've got a couple of names that you could probably guess who they are, but when they came on. But any concerns of any that we may have to rely on, especially over this Christmas period, this festive period, I should say?
Yeah, I think
to sort themselves out a bit.
The players that are going to be, I guess, used as rotation for certain positions do need to step up. I mean, I think Kirill comes in and does well. I think with more games and more playing time, he will continue to do well. I just think sometimes when you're coming in cold, it's different. When you know your place in the squad, then you know how to train, if you know what I mean. When you're younger and you constantly want to play, when you're not playing, your form dips. So Jorginho came in yesterday, hasn't really played, has he? But he knows his place in the squad. His place is not to start every game. His place is just to come in where needed. And then he had that same sort of role. And when you come in, you perform. And that's what he does. I think certain players, your Zinchenko's, Jesus, Sterling, Kirill to an extent as well. When they're coming in, they need to be able to step up, because you've got the younger kids like Ethan who's coming in and stepping up. Like, he's not putting in a bad game whenever he's playing. He's not getting bad minutes. He's hungry. He's eager for the ball. Scored more goals than Foden this year. You know what I mean? So in the Premier League, should I say?
True.
We've got players that are coming in that will step up and will take those opportunities and know their place in the squad. I touch on Big Gabby. The guy is a monster. Yeah. He is an absolute monster. And him and Saliba are a pair of bullies. They are relentless when they're together. Because they're both big and strong, and Gabby is just at corners like he's just a bully in there. No one, whoever they put marking, I've heard him go, "Oh yeah, the striker shouldn't mark him." I've seen him when they've had defenders marking him. I've seen whoever's marking him. It doesn't matter. Like that's the thing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He is an absolute bully. But the players stepping in need to also be able to step up as well, because he's come off a few times now and not finished the game. And I'm hoping that, like I said, Kyrgios naturally going to take over because he's the left-sided player. So we shall see. But yeah, I'd be the players that need to come in. I think we need to see more of Sterling. I just think they need more minutes. Players like Sterling and stuff like that. Zinchenko, Jesus didn't do too badly when he came on, but it's not enough still. Do you know what I mean? It's not enough. We just want more. We need more output. We need that hungry Jesus from when he first joined. And that's when he was enjoying his football, still putting his body about. He still does, but I just don't think he's enjoying himself as much.
Yeah, I think you can definitely see that with Jesus. His head's just not in it, and I think as Mac has said, Sterling stealing and living total waste of a load. It seems that way, He just
paid for him.
Yeah, well, we paid a less than what we could. I think Chelsea are still paying the max amount of it, but yeah, it's just disappointing how it seems to turn out because he just doesn't look like he's plugged in to the system. And again, we talk about making the right decisions on the other side with Saka. There was a situation where he came on. I don't know if you remember Bright in the second half. Obviously, when he came on, and he had a chance. He could have squared it. He could have maybe knocked it to far post. He slashes at it, and it just looks an ugly attempt. And Jesus is trying too hard and trying to do too much in the minutes that he's got. Again, I just think with the number of games that we've got coming up, which is on the ticker, these guys are going to have to. There's going to have to be rotation, of course, and hopefully it's basis of Arteta doing that, not rather than being forced to, because obviously we're picking up these knocks and stuff. Because obviously the worry with Gabriel was obviously the whack he got on his head, and obviously he got a similar one on Wednesday night, and obviously there's a concussion protocol, and if the club kind of says that's the reason, then he's out for Wednesday. He can't play on Wednesday, so. Arteta afterwards is pretty much kind of, poo-poo that a bit. He was basically saying, well, it wasn't that. We just thought it was an issue and we kind of took him out because we kind of wanted to make sure he was all right. They didn't say the C word. But, it was a proper whack he got. But again, touching on what Steve says, do you agree with that in terms of the numbers that we've, the couple of players we've got, 4 that need to come in and fix up a little bit. I think Zinchenko was kind of his usual self, a couple of nice bits and then a couple of sloppy bits. But when you look at the level of like Wanyeri or Ethan, when he comes in and what he's doing compared to the other guys that are kind of coming in and not at that, operating at the optimum level, is it, as Steve said, because they've just not had the chances, or should they just be expected to be producing at a level when they get called upon?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both, because I think when you look at those particular players of Jesus, Sterling, Zinchenko, those 3 to begin with, they've all come from a championship winning side. There's plenty of experience in there. So ideally you should be thinking that they, again, comes to football intelligence in some respects. They should be able to pick up the either differences in training methods, well, Raheem Sterling in particular, pick up training methods slightly differently, even though all 3 of them have worked with Arteta before anyway. So it's like, look, I think the run of games will what we've got, as I said, the 8 games in 28 days will tell a lot, because they will play. They will play. We've got Palace in the cup, for argument's sake. That's a big game. It's a semi-final. For that, the likelihood of a Jesus and a Sterling is likely to play in those games to try and get us into a semi-final. So there are opportunities there for those particular players on the fringes. I know, Steve, you were saying about sort of the Kivior situation there. I think you're right with regarding to him with aspects of minutes and stuff like that. I think the issue that you kind of have in that is that if there is a major injury during a big game of a Kivior coming in and doing the job, yesterday was slightly different. We were relatively cruising. He can then get, he can do this kind of the simple things and stuff like that in a game like that. But when we're on the edge, and if there's particular injuries that come in on the edge, that's when you're going to need these individuals to really step to the plate and get to speeds of games, and that's going to be quite critical. But yeah, I think, look, at the end of the day, we're going to have to rotate. There isn't a question about that. So players have got to be ready. We're not going to be putting out the same 11 for the next 5 or 6 games. That's for sure. So that all of those players should be thinking and should be on their toes now, thinking, I'm going to get a game. I'm going to get a game in this period. I'm going to get a game, so I've got to be ready.
Yeah, 100.
Even, and you've got to think of also Kieran Tierney coming back into it as well. He's been induced, he's re-induced back into the squad. So, again, that's a level of putting pressure on those, the likes of Zinchenko as well, where his position was taken by him effectively, but now can actually put the pressure on him. So there's no givens, should we say? So people have just got to be ready now.
Yeah, 100%. It's great. It's great seeing Tierney back. He's really is great, and I think Neil's said that in the chat it would be the greatest comeback. you really root for him because it'd be an amazing comeback for him. Yeah, it would be, man. There's a guy who was out cold. He's been out on loan, obviously, to Real Sociedad. Obviously, there's a link there with obviously the sporting director who's left there, and there's talks about us getting him in, and obviously that would be interesting. It kind of makes sense. And yeah, as Neil said here, 80 will be the best comeback ever. I can imagine him, coming in. He's one that could maybe play in the quarterfinal. Brian, you know what I mean? He can maybe do, because obviously he had problems adjusting to the inverted fullback stuff, hasn't he? And all that stuff. But you'll think he's had a little bit of time perfecting that, on the training pitch, I'll imagine. And obviously he's got experience of playing left centre back as well, hasn't he? As well. Yeah. So I mean, and he is a good passer of the ball. So I mean, yeah, the door could be open for him. It'd be great to see him back. I think he's kind of what you need, as long as he stays fit. He's exactly type of characteristics that you want there. Obviously Mac has said as well. Obviously, he referred to Jesus. Yeah, he's not scoring, so what's the point? January we have to go hard for a decent prospect like maybe Evan Ferguson, which might be an interesting shout there. Depending what his stock has fallen a little bit. So I know they were looking at 90, 100 million when he scored a couple of goals in the Premier League. I don't think they're going to be getting anything like that. At all. So it'd be interesting to see what we do in January. Probably be another centre back again, or left back, but instead of a forward. But let's see. And just a couple of things on the game just before we talk about what's to come. Just the Gabriel when he got clattered. I can't remember. I don't think the physio came on, did he, for that? And that was a head injury. And there was a bit where the West Ham player was trying to pull him up. You could see, hey, he's trying to put him to head injury. What are you doing? I don't think the physio came on. And again, do you think that's because, okay, if we let the physio come on and it's a head injury and everyone sees that, do we, then you go down that sort of path, don't you? You go down that thing. Well, are we really thinking of the health of the player? And is his availability more important than actually if he's got a proper knock? Because when he got up, he was staggering like he'd been knocked out, like AJ. That's what he looked like to me. He looked like he was in like the ring of the boy, which was a bit of a worry. And also I noticed obviously the commentary, Neville and Jamie Redknapp seemed to have a problem with how long the referee took to make the decision to award the penalty. Whereas, I don't know, in the past, a referee's been criticised. Not that I'm defending Pogba. You can see my strap I want them gone, you know. But it seemed like, you know, they get, you know, referees have been smashed over the head because they've been too rash in a penalty decision. They're giving it too quickly, because this guy's actually thought about it and then seen what's happened and said, okay, yeah, that's a penalty. Again, it's because it's Arsenal, isn't it? You know, as we know, if it's Arsenal, everything gets judged completely differently. But anyway, let's go on to Wednesday night. Obviously, you got Man United. Obviously, before that, of course, where am I going with this? Liverpool won tonight, beat City 2-0. That's another defeat for Pep. You know, seems to be rattled with, you know, doing 6 to you know, the Anfield crowd and giving them a clap as he walked off. Guy's proper gone. He's fighting. He's beating himself up, which, you know, isn't good. Good thing, you know. All the rumours that, you know, he had a bit of a scrap for Beckham and Alex Ferguson type scrap in the dressing room. And if you believe that he kicked a boot at Beckham's head, and that's why he's got the scratching, you're there's something wrong with you. Yeah, you're better off believing the aliens that are gonna come and take over in a couple of days, if that's what you think. You know, that was a proper scuff. Yeah, so it looked like him and Edison had a bit of a set too. And it's all unraveling. It looks like to me something's going on there. Maybe someone's been told some information about maybe a particular case, and things aren't going the way that they kind of thought it was. And yeah, it doesn't look right. You know, Haaland was laughing his head off at the end. You know, we know when he played against us, he was trying to kill Gabriel. But tonight he was all having, you know, looking longingly into the eyes of Van Dijk and smiling and everything, and look really happy with life. You know, even though they lost and he's not scored again. So yeah. So before, you know, we are an Arsenal channel, and when we're beaten, we hold our hands up and say it. So we'd like to congratulate Liverpool on winning the 2024-25 Premier League. And all the pundits have pretty much said it. You know, I listened to it for half an hour. They've been talking about how great they are and everything that they've done, and how amazing Slot is, and he's come in and he's done this and that. So congratulations, well done. At least this time they're going to be able to have a trophy parade, and everyone be able to see, you know, the trophy, and you know, not have an asterisk against, you know, against the title win, like that. You know, everyone wants to give an asterisk against the FA Cup win we got that year as well. So congratulations to Liverpool on their latest title win. And we're not bitter, you know. It should have been ours, but hey, what can you do? It's football, isn't it? But yeah, talking on that,
if they lose this now,
oh well, you know, people forget in April, what was it? They were 5 points clear, was it, or March? They were 5 points clear, didn't they? And then obviously we took over and we were 11 points clear, but City had 2 games in hand, and obviously we knew what happened with the Villa game. But yeah. Congratulations to Slot. You know, winning the title, winning his first season, amazing stuff. You know, what can you say about that? Obviously, Neil just touching on Kieran Tierney for getting 9 lives, 49 lives. Yeah, like the 49. Well done.
You know what? Just to add something about Tierney is sometimes you don't need 2 inverted fullbacks, and him playing on that left-hand side could free up Martinelli a bit more, because again, Tierney doesn't mind doing the overlap. Do that overlap over and over and over and over and over again. And just as another option, you've got that.
Yeah, because somebody said that. I was like, because obviously the inverting was coming when it all started. It was primarily coming from the left hand side. Wasn't it? Is Zinchenko coming in, and whereas on the right hand side, Ben White was doing the overlapping, so he wasn't inverting as much. But it seems as things have gone on, both sides are inverting. You know, Timber was doing it a bit. He was doing the overlapping yesterday, but a lot of him, he was doing a bit of inverting as well. So it looks like both were doing it. But I think you're right. I think, you know, you can get Tierney in just to be that sort of solid base for Martinelli to work from, or whoever's on the left-hand side to work from, and not have to worry about, you know, what inverting that side. And then it switches over to the right-hand side. And I just think it'd be great to have him back in because it's just his injuries. I think he's not a bad player. He's a good player. It's just he's not. What's the most important ability in football is availability. You need to be able to
Because
to be able
again,
to be chosen.
You say with the availability, Mike, and we look at Saka, he's pretty much available.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
He works hard, and I'm not saying that T and other players don't work hard in being available. It just is what it is.
Yeah. James is joining us. Has said if the world succumbs to nuclear warfare, which could be not far away, and the fallout that we all live with the roaches with him and Kieran Tierney, pretty much. So yeah, on to Wednesday, Bri. It's pretty much now win the next game, isn't it? I mean, we can't be thinking of anything else other than that. And obviously United won today 4-0 against a shocking Everton side, which I don't see the point of them anymore. But what's your thoughts looking ahead to that? Do you think there's going to be any rotation? Can there afford to be any rotation, really? Or do you just, how would you approach that? Because I think, again, as we mentioned before, they're missing a couple of players, Mainu and Martinez, which I'm happy because I think Martinez, he's always liable to chuck one in on someone or go in 2-4 on someone. And I was kind of had worries that it would have been someone like, Odegaard, he might have done it too, or something like that, just out of spite because that's the type of player he is. But what's your thoughts looking at that game and just obviously how, obviously the fixture list with 12 of the 13 games we've got to come. It'll be 11 of the 12 games we've got to come now are in London. Is that a good thing? Compare that to obviously what Liverpool and City have got to do in terms of travelling, and obviously you've got to put Chelsea into that mix as well. But what's your thoughts ahead to Wednesday? What are you thinking, man?
I think they're going to still have the new manager bounce, obviously, and they'll be coming down there to prove something. That's for sure. But I think what we've got to go there is basically say, look, we're here as an established side. We've been there or thereabouts over the last couple of seasons with the squad that we've got playing a brand of football that way we do, and Manchester United, to be honest with you, what kind of style or brand of football have they had over the last 2, 3, 4 seasons, to be honest with you? So we've got to stamp an authority, I think, on the game. I don't, you're always going to get, a Rashford chance. What we've got to look at is not giving up those kinds of chances to him, as we have done previously. Generally speaking, when I say I'm not, you always worry a little bit when you play a Manchester United team, regardless upon where they are in the league. Yeah. But to be honest with you, at this moment in time, I think we've just got too much experience for them. Regardless of what personnel they actually have got, we've just got more experience. We've got a bit more know-how, and I think with regarding to the kind of the rotation aspect of it, we've just got to see who had minor knocks, who didn't play, and if they've recovered from them, and who have got kind of the knocks from this weekend. The Gabriel one is obviously going to be a little bit of a concern. That's for sure. But generally speaking, I think it's like it's looking at the people who weren't there and who may be available, rather than I think what was left on the game last night, to be honest with you, because it looked like, relatively speaking, there was a clean billish of health that came through that game, other than Gabriel, I think. Agree. Do you think, Steve? Obviously, Martinelli didn't get any minutes, did he? He didn't come on till obviously, and he was on the bench. Do you think it could be almost a replay, or in terms of systems that we're going to face? Because obviously we're playing against Amorim. United have been playing this 4-3-4-3 formation. This new formation. That's what we played against Sporting Lisbon, and obviously we had a lot of joy. Martinelli had a lot of joy against them. Do you think obviously that's what Arteta's thinking? Give him a rest, give him a good
chance to recharge, and then just unleash him. You think you can see him starting Wednesday night, and do you agree, Brian? It's just a case of managing as much as we can, and once the games are won, hopefully we kind of pull people off as quickly as possible.
Yeah, against the United side that are, as Brian said, with the new manager bounce and stuff like that, they're going to be up for it. So we're going to need to have some pace in that team, and Martinelli offers that. He offers that threat of running in behind, and if he's on his game, then we've got a chance down that left hand side, like I said, because he does run. So yeah, I think he was just being rested for the game. Don't get me wrong, Trossard's assist yesterday was top notch.
Yeah,
first time ball as well. But yeah, I think we need pace against United. United are a good side, and despite what the league looks like, they're a good side. I mean, they beat City in the FA Cup final at the end of last season. They still know how to win and turn up in the big games, if you know what I mean. I do agree with Brian. I do think we have a better foundation of where our team is and where our club is at the moment, and that we should be stronger, and we'll beat them, if you know what I mean. But I don't take nothing away that they're not still a good side somewhere in there. They've still got players that can hurt you. They've still got Fernandes, they've still got Rashford. So they've still got players that can come and do you damage. But I think we've now turned our corner, if you know what I mean. We've had our early season just inconsistency. We're now scoring goals again, and the goals are being spread around. 5 different scorers yesterday. So yeah, we seem to have turned the corner, and I think we'll just be too strong. It'd be interesting to see what he does with the team. I think Calafiori will start because he looks good. Centre backs pick themselves if they're fit. Right back picks himself. Goalkeeper picks himself. Saka picks himself. Picks himself. Havertz picks himself. It's just the centre and the left. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I think we're too good. I mean, we're definitely too good.
Yeah, I think we should have too much for them. And as Max said, United. Some people are thinking it's maybe come a little bit too early, and for their new manager. And we're at home. We haven't lost them since 2017, which is a good record to have against them, because we went through spells where we couldn't beat them, couldn't we? And home or away. And Neil has said we will win 2-0. Martinelli will score. Yeah, I'll take that. Take that all day. And he says that's for Liverpool. Remember, Emery went 22 games unbeaten his first season, and maybe the slot bubble will burst. Maybe that'd be nice. The slot machine is definitely working at the moment, but let's hope. There's a long way to go. He's talking. He's saying all the right stuff. He's really confident. It seems the way he's come across after the games. He's sort of breaking down teams and how he's done this and how the team done that. And I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me. Just the way he kind of is talking about opposition teams. It's almost like it's kind of too easy for him, and it's almost like he's trying to. He did that when they beat Liverpool and at Old Trafford, and he was on the side of the pitch, and he was talking for about a good while, and he was kind of breaking it down, literally what they did and how kind of straightforward it was for him to do it. And I don't know whether that's something that they do in Holland a lot, where they go into the actual deconstruction of how they beat teams, but he's doing it here, and I kind of think it's almost a little bit dismissive of what he's up against. And I think they haven't met a hump yet. Obviously, they lost to Forest. I don't think they've met a hump yet. And like I said, we've already congratulated on them here. We're the first to do it. So when they get the title, we can say we did it first and everything. But still think there's a long way to go. As made reference to, and 9 points after 13 games, it's nothing. We know that, and no matter what the stats say, we don't even need them to lose games. They just need to draw a couple, and things change suddenly. So but but yeah, great chat, guys. I don't know if there was anything else you wanted to raise, or anything on your chests following that, and obviously what we've got to come. But it's been a great chat. It's been a good week and a bit. Obviously, congrats to obviously Havertz scoring his goal, and obviously he's had a good week. Obviously, I think he announced him and his partner are expecting as well, so that's a good week for him. Obviously, scoring as well, finding the net again and everything. And yeah, let's just hope the good vibes continue and we can just go on the run. But even though we say that, just win the next game. Just do that. That's all we can do.
Yeah.
We can't think about anything else.
I think during this period.
Can I just add, right? And I talked about just very briefly. I just said, look, when your big players are out, because with every club, like I said, Rodri's out for City, and everybody's like, oh, Rodri is the glue that sticks City together. He's got a big enough squad, hasn't he? Like, that shouldn't be the reason why they're doing so poorly. We had Odegaard out, and since he's come back, he as you said at the beginning, he makes us tick a bit different with his offensive pressing, the passes between him and Saka, and that understanding and just linking up plays. I think people really, really outside of the club, for example, other fans and stuff, just don't appreciate how much we missed him. He's our captain.
Yeah,
he is our captain. And we missed him during that period. In that period, we had Saka still stepping up and doing bits. That's the crazy thing about this kid. He was still stepping up and doing bits. Like I said, his offensive work is as good as his defensive work, in my opinion. And both of them have that in their locker. I would like to see us. I don't know how to put it. I'd like to see us just go. You know what? We're gonna get our squad as fit as possible and just go for it. I'm better for us chasing this Liverpool side than us being chased. We've been the leaders and stuff like that.
There'll be more of a hunger.
If we can keep that trio of players just fit, then we're okay. Yeah. And by that I mean I didn't add his name there, but Partey's in that mix as well for me. It's Partey, Odegaard, Saka. It's those three. Yeah. Those are the linchpins. Yes, your centre back pairings definitely there as well, of course. But I mean those three help us tick attacking wise, and they do that by being offensively good at pressing and winning the ball back further up the pitch, which means our defenders don't have to do so much further at the back of the pitch, and then we're more dominant. And it's about 5 to 6 yards, but we're 5 or 6 yards further up the pitch with the majority of the game. I totally agree. It's going to come down to lots of things. I think this Premier League has been so crazy this year. Everyone keeps on beating each other. It seems we're taking points with each other, apart from Liverpool at the moment, who are just going on a mad run. But having said that, even they lost to Nottingham Forest at home. You know what I mean? And Mac has thrown a couple of grenades in just before we go into the room. He said Liverpool don't have the depth. If Salah gets injured or downs tools, they will struggle. No chance they stay on this trajectory. We, Chelsea and City, still have plenty of chances. And I think, you kind of agree with that because of just how the Premier League has been. And you can't, I think in Premier League games, I think that the times of domination, completely games are gone because the quality is there so much that a team has a 10 or 15-minute spell and you're going to concede or you're going to be hanging on for a little bit. And we saw that yesterday. West Ham had a 5-minute spell, 10-minute spell, and they got 2 goals. Yes, I know the free kick was never a free kick for the second one, but that pass from Soler through to Wan-Bissaka, you just switch off for a minute and that goes in. And I just think the Premier League is just bonkers this season. And I think as you said, I think the Christmas schedule. And January is a massive leveler. Also, April, obviously, we go to Liverpool. I think 3 games to go, don't we? I know we said not look ahead, but that could turn out to be a massive game as well. But no, I think you're right. I think Odegaard coming back is absolutely huge.
and he's grown. His importance has grown, and his everything about him, his stature, everything has grown. And just hope he can keep him wrapped up, because that goal for Trossard, we don't score that goal, do we? With anyone else, he doesn't play that pass. He won the ball back for Havertz's goal as well, where he played it to Trossard. And again, Havertz did some bits as well for the, they all are contributing. So it's great. Again, the goals are being shared. It's not being reliant on just one individual, because everyone says, "Oh, we need 20 goals to see the striker." Well, we scored 13 goals in 3 games. It's all well and good, but then if you're funneling all those chances to one person, then you're cutting off the chances for others. But no, sorry, well, you can say something.
I'd certainly look. We've got to look at it this way. I'd rather take our lapses of dropping points in the early part of the season than in March and April.
Yeah.
And there's a liability there's a great possibility that Liverpool could do that. If it's not over Christmas, that's when they could actually do it. When it's pivotal for them.
Yeah.
So it's very much where we keep everybody fit, and we get through the Christmas period, and we get into kind of January and February with most people fit, and then going for the running again. That's going to be the real critical part of this. I see Liverpool dropping points. I've said to you, Mike, I'm not enamoured around their midfield. I don't necessarily think it's a championship. That's just me personally. People will tell me differently. I don't see it as a championship winning midfield. That's going forward, slightly different. They've got enough firepower going forward, but that midfield is you can get at, and we got at them when we played at home. We was unlucky, and we were under strength that day. And
massively.
No Odegaard that game.
Yeah, no Odegaard.
So
we had Party right back.
And people will say City today, for argument's sake, but City are on a dreadful run. There, you can see there's something not right with them.
100%.
At this moment in time, and what Liverpool have basically done, they've taken lots of points of teams which have been under strength or in the bottom half of the league this season. They haven't really played a full tested squad in the top half this season so far, and that's when we will see if that's a title winning side or not.
They've had a great week. They've beaten Madrid, and you can say that they were
an under strength Madrid.
Well, you can say that, but they've won that 2-0. They've won today 2-0, so they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So it's gonna be interesting. I think there's a long way to go, and I think that I just think there's too many games to go really for people to say it's all cut and shut, because you even got to look at like Chelsea, what they're doing. They've actually got a squad to navigate all this, to do that. You know what I mean? Madueke didn't even start today. You had Neto, and you're just waiting for the Neto hamstring to pop, and then obviously you can see what happens there, because it's coming, isn't it? We know it's going to happen with it. But lots to look forward to. I think we're going to see if we can try and do something after the United game. It may be a quick recap, depending on how things work out. Because obviously, the games are coming quick and fast, because we've got the Pro derby, haven't we, at the weekend as well, to look forward to, and be emotional for him. And hopefully he'll won't have to do no scoring and not celebrating stuff. Hopefully we might let him do one when it's 5-1 or something like that. Maybe be nice for him to do that. But that'd be an interesting game. But
Mike, one other quick thing about Ethan as well. With what Lauren said in the last pod, totally agree with it. If I get why he's being protected, and we've seen, I think as a club in the Premier League era, we've probably seen far too many leg breaks of our players than we should do. And I think when the kid's still developing, you don't want them to get any serious injury. And I think because of how teams sometimes play against us in terms of their physicality, and I don't want anything happening to that kid. So I get why he's being protected and just being allowed to grow and enjoy the minutes that he is getting. So yeah, just the hatchet, man.
Yeah, totally agree. And I think, he came on yesterday. He didn't really get too much touches, did he? He didn't really seem to get involved that much. But yeah, I think you're right. That's probably the only thing you could probably let. I think you said it before. Label that Arteta maybe not giving him more minutes in the time that Odegaard was out, because it maybe would have brought on his development a little bit more, especially if he'd started against Leicester or Southampton. It was basically there for him, especially Southampton, with the way that they play. You only got to see the way that they played against Liverpool. They give you so many chances. They play at the back. Can you imagine someone like him pressing, and he's so quick, closing down their defenders. He would have caused mayhem that day, I'm sure. Just give him a start in one of those two games. And we're maybe talking about a different type of situation going into this running, But no, I think he's in good hands, regardless. And man, fingers crossed we can put United to bed. They're owed one, they're owed a good beating. It's been a while. I think we did them. Was it 3-0 or something? 3-1 when Sanchez scored after a minute, and I think Walcott scored or something like that, and we tore them one. But we still owe them for that 8-2. A lot. That's a long time ago, but we owe them for that. It'd be nice to run a few past them. But thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time. Great chat as always. We'll be back, like I said, maybe for a short one after the United game. Yeah, hopefully some more of that. Yeah, we'll be back after the United game, and maybe a quick recap. Obviously, look ahead to what's to come, and we'll go from there. Bye from Neil. Thanks for everyone in the chat. Really appreciate it. The comments and support. Really appreciate it, and hope everyone has a great week to come. It's always a good start to the week when the Arsenal have done the business. Put a few Christmas presents under the tree. You can see Brian's one just popping out there, one of two, and he probably got one from the banker yet. I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens there. Steve's been cleaned out of his booze, of his Christmas booze, so he has to restock, empty from the last time that he was on. And me, all my money's gone to the kids, so I haven't got anything for Christmas. But anyway, thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Thanks everyone for watching.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks for having us on.
And up the Gunners.
Newcastle, the central figure again, and he looks to trick Michael.